I know what you are thinking. Yes, I know what you are thinking. I know your mind, you are saying what God cannot do does not exist. But I can tell you, one of the things He cannot do is to rob. He will not teach you to rob. He will only teach you to do the right thing. So it has to be achievable. So today I'm going to be starting a series on how to set financial goals. And today we'll start with the part 1 of this series. How to set financial goals. You know, when the year is about to end and people are going into a new year, one of the questions in people's mind is, how do I set great goals for my life? Ideally, as human beings, especially progressive minded human beings, we need to set goals in our family, set goals for our health, set goals for our spirituality. Make us ask ourselves, how do we even set the right goals? What parameters, what methods can we use in setting goals? Quite frankly, most of us have tried setting goals and we find out that after a while, we don't get to achieve our goals. And so, sometimes it's not even a function of you. Sometimes it's a function of the goals that you set. And so today, we're going to be sticking down to financial goals. Why? Because that's what this channel is all about. How to set financial goals. You know, many times people set goals and say, oh, by the end of this year, I want to be able to achieve this, I want to be able to achieve that. But they don't get to do it. Why? Because their goals does not follow, firstly, the first important thing that is required in setting goals. When you want to set a goal, the first thing you must notice is that your goal must be smart. What do I mean? Your goal must be what? Smart. The word SMART here is an acronym for 5 different words that are very, very important in making you set goals that you can achieve. The S in SMART stands for specific. You know, many times people set goals and they are frazzled with it. In 1 year, I want to be a billionaire. Really? Really? That's not a specific goal. Why? Because if you say in 1 year you want to be a billionaire, what you're doing is you are facade. You're not specific. Now people say, oh, I want to be a billionaire when I'm old. When old? How old do you want to be for you to achieve that goal? So the first thing is your goal has to be specific. Example of a specific goal is to say, at the end of year 2024, I want to have a total revenue of 100 million naira. Or, depending on your level, you can say, at the end of 2025, whichever year it is, I want to have a total revenue of 1 million naira. Now, that goal is specific. It is specific because you have certain metrics that you are using. The second goal is that the goal has to be measurable. M stands for measurability. It has to be measurable. What does that mean? It has to be something that you can track. In the last example I gave, I said in the next 1 year, I want to be a billionaire. Well, as much as that can seem so good on paper, you can't measure it. Why do I mean you can't measure that goal? In the sense that, is it 1 billion? Is it 2 billion? So, you have to be specific and it has to be measurable. The next thing that you need to know is letter A. Letter A stands for achievable. Oh, before I go to letter A, I did give an example of something that is measurable. Look at the earlier goal we set. I want to have a total revenue of 100 million. You can measure this. The metrics you are measuring is total revenue. And it is measurable in the sense that there is a number attached to it. 100 million. I want to reduce my weight from whatever it is I am now to 65 kg. That's a measurable goal. The next thing is achievable. A goal has to be achievable. You can't set a goal that you cannot achieve. Yes, it is true that your goal should be big enough to chase you and cause you to go out there and stretch you. However, it should be achievable. Why? Because if your goal is not achievable, it will change from being a goal to a fantasy. It will change from being a goal to a fantasy. And what does that mean? And when you know what fantasy does to us, it just takes us high. It takes us high. And after a while, when you just wake up to reality, you're sad. You don't want to do that to yourself. We're not talking about dreams today. We're talking about goals. So whatever goal you are setting has to be achievable. If, for example, my present earning in a year is say 10 million naira, and I look at the metrics and I look at the tools and the advantages and the connections at my disposal and the relationship at my disposals, and I said, you know what, I want to go from 10 million naira in revenue to 30 million naira in revenue. This looks well achievable. Why? Because I have looked at the relationships at my disposal, I have looked at the asset at my disposal, I have looked at the skill set at my disposal, and say, you know what, let's times 3. But if I wake up and say, you know what, I want to go from 10 million naira revenue to 1 billion naira revenue, this doesn't look achievable. I know what you are thinking. Yes, I know what you are thinking. I know your mind that saying what God cannot do does not exist. But I can tell you, one of the things He cannot do is to rob. He will not teach you to rob. He will only teach you to do the right thing. So it has to be achievable. The next thing, it has to be relevant. It has to be relevant to you, or it has to be realistic. It has to be relevant to you or realistic. It has to be relevant. As a standard banker that I am, I can set a goal to say, you know what, I want to get to DM level in banking. Yeah, say in 3 years. That looks good. That's relevant to my career. But to say in 6 months, I want to be at the Olympics representing Nigeria in football. You first ask me, first and foremost, do I have the skill? Have I played football before for my streets? Have I played football before for my church? Or how would I want to do it in 6 months that I will move from being a banker all the way to representing Nigeria in the Nations Cup for football? That's not relevant. It's not relevant to my career. It's not relevant to my lifestyle. It's not relevant to my life. So the goal has to be relevant. It has to be what? Relevant. The next thing is that your goal has to be time bound. Letter T, it has to be time bound. You have to set a goal that is time bound. Don't just leave and say, I want to be a billionaire. Wishes and goal. It's this thing that I just mentioned. It has to be time bound. Because lots of people, they are working, we are working. You say, okay, what do you want to do with your life? Say, I want to have a company that will be big. When? No idea. That's the difference between a dreamer and a doer. When you say, oh, at the end of this year, let's look at this. Let's set a goal now that will fit into all these acronyms. SMART. Specific goal, a measurable goal, achievable goal, a relevant goal, and a time-bound goal. Let's look at an example of a goal. Say, at the end of year 2025, you can see time here. There's a time bound there. I want to have a net worth of 30 million. Now, when you look at this goal, you would see that it has all the elements of SMART. It is specific. Why? I am measuring one thing at a time, which is net worth. It is measurable. Why? There is a particular number attached to it. 30 million. This shows that it is specific. Measurable because 30 million is the metric. It is achievable. Why? From where I am standing, it is achievable. For me, from where I am standing, what it just means is, oh, I have to start thinking of assets that I can use to go faster than where I am right now. But it is achievable from where I am standing, from my own financial journey. From somebody else's financial journey, it is not. It might not be. This might not even be a goal. This might just be a walkover. This might not even be. The person that have attained this and gone ahead of it. That's fine. But it is achievable. The next thing, it is relevant. Because I am building wealth for myself. This is a relevant goal. I think it's also relevant for everybody. It is relevant. Not setting a goal that is a castle in the air kind of a thing. Then there is time attached to it. It is time bound. It is time bound. Now, when you look at this, you set a goal that is time bound at the end of 2025, meaning there's a timeline to it. So if at that time that you have set for that goal, you have not achieved it, you will know. Because first, it's specific, you can measure it, it is something you can achieve. No, it's a stretch, but it's something you can achieve. It is relevant to you, and then there is a time attached to it. You can say that, oh, this is a very good goal. This is what makes a goal good. But this method is something you can adapt for any goal in your life, any area of your life. So don't forget, your goal has to be SMART. It has to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. One thing you must note is that this is not just for financial goals alone. This is a template you can use for any goal whatsoever that you want to set in your life. Thank you so much for joining us for part 1 of this series, how to set financial goals. See you at the part 2 of how to set financial goals. Again, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the Street Banker channel. Drop all questions in the comment section. I will definitely respond to every question, and who knows, I could do a video on your question too. See you again at the part 2 of how to set financial goals. I remain your host on the Street Banker YouTube channel, Peter Babajide. God bless you.